Do you ever have one of those projects in the shop where you just ask yourself, why did I wait so long? That's what this is for me. This is a table saw storage cabinet for under the extension wing of the table saw, and it's got room for everything I could possibly need to store in there. Here's what makes it awesome. Metal pegboard on the sides. It's compatible with standard hooks and perfect for magnetic accessories. 6 deep drawers for spare brakes, grippers, feather boards, hold downs, zero clearance inserts, and much more. Want to geek out? Use Kaizen foam to create custom inserts for your dado stack. And I even have a file cabinet style storage drawer that keeps all the table saw blades safe, organized, and ready for action. Now if you'd like to build one of these, we do have a 10 video guild course that you might be interested in. That's at thewoodwhispererguild.com. And if you're watching this video, on release day you still have today to get the pre-order price. That's 20% off the regular price. Either way, I hope to see you there in the Wood Whisperer Guild, but for now, let me show you how I made it. For the case, I'm using imported 3/4 inch plywood. It's not the best looking stuff, but it's relatively cheap, at least for now. With all the new tariffs in play, should be very interesting to see what happens to both domestic and imported plywood pricing. And that's about as close as you'll ever hear me get to being political on this show, so I hope you enjoyed it. Anyway, let's move on to an even more controversial topic, like cutting plywood on a raised surface versus the floor. I get it, those of you with bad knees can't imagine cutting on the floor. Those of you with bad backs can't imagine cutting like this on a raised surface. So pick your poison and do whatever hurts you the least. But can we all agree that plywood just kinda sucks to work with no matter how you cut it? My strategy here is to use the track saw to make at least one square corner and bring my pieces to rough size. I could then use the table saw to hit my final dimensions. Of course, some of the parts are left oversized for now, and they'll be cut to final size later when we have more information. Incidentally, that's the kind of stuff that we go into detail on in the course. So the case sides have 2 rabbets and a dado, and the divider and bottom also have dados for the vertical divider. To cut the rabbets, I'll use a dado stack at the table saw and a sacrificial fence. The sacrificial fence allows me to bury the blade and make a cut right on the edge of the plywood without having to pay the saw stop tax. Now I'm going to swap back to my regular blade and cut a 1/4 inch groove for the back panel. It takes 2 passes, but it's pretty easy to sneak up on a nice snug fit. So now that we know the exact dimension from the front of the case to the back panel groove, we can cut the dividers to final size. Next up, a little dry assembly. This is why I left some of the parts oversized, because it's only at this point that we can get the final numbers. And with all the case parts cut, we can start the glue up. Now there's nothing worse than spending hours, even days, working on a project only to dork it up at the assembly step. So be smart about it. Do a dry run, use a glue that gives you enough working time, and whenever possible, break the assembly down into sub-assemblies like I'm doing here. I can assemble the bottom and the dividers first, getting everything nice and square before I even have to worry about the rest of the parts. Once that dries, I could bring in a side, a back panel, the other side, and then the top. Being systematic about it like this means fewer opportunities for error, and you just get better results. All right. Next up, we have a bunch of drawers to make. The sides get some rabbets cut on the ends, and the fronts and backs are cut to fit between them. Once everything is sized, we can cut the grooves for the drawer bottoms. And then we can cut the drawer bottoms themselves. By the way, you might notice that I'm using a couple of different glues here, and it's not always strategic or intentional. Sometimes I just grab the bottle that's closest to me, and other times I'm just using the glue that I have the most of, especially in cases like this where just about any type of glue would do the trick. The final drawer that I need to work on is the blade drawer. This one has a bunch of extra grooves for dividers that will separate the blades. Now the blade won't get us there in a single pass, so I'm using feeler gauges as a spacer for the second cut. This way I can do a series of settings and cut both sides of the drawer, putting the groove in the same location while also being able to get the 2 cuts needed to match the plywood divider thickness. That's clear as mud, right? Well, anyway, the dividers pop right in, giving each blade just enough room to stand up, turn around, and lay back down. And that's the key to making sure that they don't poop in there. Finally, it's time for the drawer slides. I know a lot of folks are hashtag Team Undermount. I get it, undermount slides are the cat's pajamas. But this cat has very expensive tastes, and his pajamas cost like 3 times as much as my tidy whities. So for shop furniture, tidy whities, side mount slides will do just fine. I don't actually wear tidy whities, by the way. I wear brand name boxer briefs because I'm worth it. Next up, we have to cut some drawer fronts. I happen to have some of this black melamine left over from other projects, which really matches the aesthetics of my shop. That's apparently a thing that some of us weirdos think about, so that's what I'm using. You can obviously use anything you want. I cut the parts down using my track saw and a special blade that's made for melamine. If you don't have a special blade, you can just run a piece of masking tape along the cut line and that should help give you cleaner results. Rounding over the edges lets a little bit of that beautiful particle board interior shine through in the final piece. It's like I always say when it comes to particle board, if you got it, flaunt it. To attach the fronts, I'll use some spacers and CA glue. The super glue holds the front in place temporarily while I add a clamp and then drive some screws for a more durable connection. And since I want this cabinet to have some vertical adjustment, I'm adding leveling feet, in black, of course. For the pulls, I'm just using some basic jobbies I got from Lowe's. To help dress up the sides, I'll use some metal pegboard. This will give me a nice area for hanging stuff, and the fact that it's metal means that I can attach some of my magnetic accessories as well. And for the actual installation, I'll slide the box under the saw, level it, and then use a few pieces of scrap as spacers so that the cabinet actually provides support for the extension wing of the saw, especially since the installation required the removal of the front leg. All right, that's going nowhere. Now, that top drawer is going to be my dedicated dado stack drawer. I've never used Kaizen foam before, but I thought this would be a good use case. This is going to be so much better than using the boxes and holders that these stacks usually come with. And yes, I have 2 dado stacks. I'm now teaching classes in my shop, and if someone should pop the saw stop brake for any reason, I need to make sure that we can continue working. When it comes to a saw stop and blades, 2 is 1 and 1 is none, or whatever the heck people say about crap like that. Heck yeah. Dude. Maybe these guys will go in there. Hey, look at that. Got my 0 clearance interest. Gotta get that 0 clearance. On the sides of the cabinet, I'll hang my push sticks and magnetic accessories. And finally, I can upgrade the blades from that screw on the wall to some nice, comfortable cubbies. This project is a wrap. Yeah, baby. Oh, you don't know how excited I am right now. And I'll tell you, nothing recharges my woodworker battery quite like a piece of shop furniture. It's just a nice break from the normal fine woodworking stuff that we do. The stakes feel that they're just a little bit lower, and we don't have to be as exact with the details. But on the other side, we get a huge benefit from it because now a thing in our shop is so organized that we have no excuse not to grab that dado stack and switch over the brake to the dado brake and to grab, the push stick because it's right there. Everything having a home just makes a more harmonious and high quality experience in the shop. So that's why shop furniture for me just recharges my batteries. I just get excited. And now when I look at my table saw, and I take a look at this, it looks fantastic, right? And I hope you guys decide to build one for yourself. Even if you don't do this exact thing, you can kind of customize it. That's the joy of doing it for yourself. You can customize it to your particular needs and have a whole lot of fun with it. And in the end, your shop is safer because it's more organized, and you're going to be able to use the things that you need to use because they're organized and you know where to find them and you know how to get to them. And it keeps all of this, which tends to get very, very messy, a little bit cleaner. Hopefully, no promises. I'm stoked about this. I hope you guys build one for yourselves, and send me pictures when you do, because I think it's a good inspiration for other people to see how you tackle problems in your shop. And when we share that information, we all make better things. All right, thanks for watching, everybody. We'll see you next time. Now, if you didn't get enough info from this video to build your own cabinet, you might want to check out my course in the Wood Whisperer Guild. You'll get a total of 10 videos outlining every step of the process, as well as a PDF plan, a cut list, and a SketchUp file that you can use to modify the design to your liking. Learn more at twwguild.com. Oreo, what are you doing? What are you doing?